Hello, Miss Reagan. Today we are on Chapter 6, Lesson 3. We're going to do a little review from our previous lessons. Let's look at number 1. It says estimate each product. Remember, we are going to estimate to get our closest number and then multiply. So we have 15 decimal 6 tenths times 10. Is 15 decimal 6 tenths closer to 15 or 16? 16. 16 times 10. Remember, we can multiply our 1 and our 16 and add our 0 at the end. 16 times 1 is 16. How many zeros do I have? 1. Add my 1 0 at the end. Let's look at number 2. We have 8 and 2 tenths times 4. 8 decimal 2 tenths. Is that closer to 8 or 9? 8. We're going to multiply it by 4. 8 times 4 is 32 for our answer. Let's try one more. Number 3, we have 19 and 5 tenths times 5 is 19 decimal 5 tenths closer to 20 or 19. Remember, 5 and up, we bump it up. We're going to do 20 times 5. We can count by 20s, or we can multiply our 2 and our 5 together. 2 times 5 is 10. How many zeros do I have? 1. I can put 1 0 at the end. All right, so today's lesson, we are going to be using repeated addition and multiplication to solve multiplying by decimals equations. So let's look at example 1. You can follow along in your textbook. Example 1, find the area of a rectangular board that is 4 feet by 3 decimal 62 hundredths feet. One way is to use repeated addition. So what we're going to do is we are going to add all of these up, which means we are going to add 4 times. So let's see, we have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Well, we can count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8. Next we have 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 is going to give us 24. We're going to put our 4 and carry our 2. They so nicely already did that for us. We have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 12 plus 2 more is 14. We bring our decimal straight down. Up here we can write 3 and 62 hundredths 4 times because we used repeated addition to multiply our numbers together. All right, let's look at our next problem. Whoops, Mrs. Bliley always forgets. Give me 1 second. How is your day going? Are you doing anything exciting today? Are you having fun with your cousin? Are you watching lots of TV about dinosaurs? What's going on, Miss Reg? Okay, let's look at this. So we can use repeated addition to multiply decimals, or we can also multiply with whole numbers. So let's look at our other way right here. It says, and then we're going to count the decimals place. So there are blank, so we're using the same equation or the same problem. We have 6 and 62, or excuse me, we have 3 and 62 hundredths times our whole number 4. So what we're going to do is there are blank places to the right of the decimal point. So if we're going to move this guy, how many times till we get to the end of our 2? 1, 2. So there are 2 places to the right of our decimal point. So what we are then going to do is we're going to start at the end of our answer that we found, and we're going to count 2 spaces, 1, 2. And that is where our decimal goes. So we're going to practice that a lot today. So as you can see, they multiplied the number. How many spaces were to the right of our decimal? And that's 6 and 62 hundredths. There were 2, 1, 2. Then when we solved our answer, we are then going to count from the last number and count 2 spaces, and that is where our decimal is going to go. If it sounds a little confusing, it's okay. We will practice some figure it out. So let's look at example 2. Of course, we are going to estimate to check for reasonableness or to check our answer. So we have 3 times 1 because we have 96 hundredths is closer to 1 than 0. 3 times 1 is 3. We're then going to multiply a whole number. So this is how we can also set it up besides using repeated addition. So we have our whole numbers on the bottom. So first we're going to do 6 times 3 is 18. Put an 8 and carry my 1. Then we have 3 times 9, 9 strick. 3 times 9 should be 27. 27 plus 1 is 28. Put my 8 and carry my 2. Then I have 3 times 0 is 0 plus 2 more is 2. My answer is 288. Now let's talk about that decimal. Okay, so first we need to figure out, I'm going to use blue, how many spaces are to the right of my decimal. So to the right, to the right, to the right. We're going to count 2 times. 1, 2. I'm at the end of my number. Okay, so I moved 2 spaces. Let's keep that in mind. So now I'm going to go to my answer and I'm going to move 2 spaces from the last number, and that is where my decimal goes, right between the 2 and the 8. So my answer is 3 times 96 hundredths is 2 and 88 hundredths. We can check my product by looking at my estimated number. The product 3 is close, oh, excuse me, I always get that wrong. The product or our answer is 2 and 88 hundredths is very close to the estimate of 3. So we can check for reasonableness, our answer works. Okay, let's try a few more problems together. And you can start your independent work. All right, let's look at number 1 in guided practice. So we have our whole number on the bottom. We have 5 tenths times 6. We are going to multiply like always. 6 times 5 is 30. Put my 0 below, carry my 3. Then I'm going to multiply my 6 times my 0. 6 times 0 is 0. Plus 5 is 5. Oh, excuse me, that's a 3. This is why I can't even read her own handwriting. So that is going to be a 3, my mistake. Okay, so to place the decimal, they already brought it down for you, but I just want to make sure you know how to get it. We're going to look at where my decimal is in 5 tenths, and we're going to move it to the right until I have no more numbers. So one time I move my decimal. I'm going to go behind my answer, the last number, and I'm going to move my decimal 1 time, and this is where my decimal should be placed. Let's look at number 2. I have 2 and 6 tenths times 4. So I'm going to start with 4 times 6 is 24. I'm going to put my 4 on the bottom and carry my 2. Then I have 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. Okay. Now, I do not want you to get confused and think, just like addition and subtraction, I just bring my decimal down. That is not always the case with multiplication and division. So you have to make sure that you know how to properly count the spaces from your decimal to get the correct answer. So let's try this one more time. I'll use blue again. My decimal in my equation is between the 2 and the 6. I'm going to count how many times I need to go to the right so there are no more numbers left. So 1 time I moved, I'm going to go to my last number in my answer and also move my decimal 1 time to the left. Okay, I hope this video helped you. If you have any questions about our lesson or would like me to teach it to you, please come on at 11:30. I will be there to support you in any way, shape, or form that I need to. I hope you have a fabulous day. For your guided practice or independent practice, I would like you to do numbers 3 through 17. Now, there are a few of them that you do need to set up and down, so that's easier to multiply, so please do that. I believe there are 6 of them. All right, have a fabulous day.